want to tell you about some of the worst advice that somebody ever gave me as far as my walk with Christ. And I need to start out by saying this person's heart was in the right place. They genuinely had a desire for me to know Christ and for me to grow and mature spiritually. And to this day, even though I haven't seen that person in probably 35 years, and I'm pretty sure that they actually have passed away, I have some great memories of that person. They set me on the path that has led me to where I am today, to where I take my faith very seriously, to where I'm passionate about seeking and serving Jesus Christ. The advice they told me was this: you need to have a quiet time every morning where you pray and you read something from the Bible. And they recommended whatever book that I was studying and a little bit of Psalms and Proverbs every day. And it sounds like great advice. But here's the problem with it. I'm not a morning person. I get up as late as I can, and when I still work for somebody else, as late as I could to get to work on time. And now that I'm self-employed, as late as I can to get to my first customer in time or to do whatever I need in time. And I really struggled, because if I got up earlier, I found my mind wandering. I couldn't concentrate on the Bible. I definitely couldn't concentrate on praying. Sometimes I'd find myself nodding off, closing my eyes over the Bible. It just didn't work. And I stopped doing it because it didn't work, and then I began to feel guilty that I wasn't having a quiet time, that I wasn't taking my faith serious enough, that I wasn't pursuing God. I realized over a few years that being more of a night person, did better when I studied the Bible late at night, like just before I went to bed. And that worked out well for me for a while, as long as I wasn't really busy. While I was in college, I'd be up late writing a paper that was due the next day, and I just couldn't take the time away from finishing that paper to spend half hour or 45 minutes in the Bible and praying, because then I'd have to finish the paper when I was really tired and it wouldn't be as good, and I'd finish the paper later, and then I would be more tired the next morning when I got up, and I wouldn't be paying attention in class. And then when I got out of college and I was working in retail management, my schedule changed all the time. They wanted me to open 3 days a week and closed 3 days a week, and my sleep schedule was all messed up, and it just didn't work again. So when I became self-employed, and I realized that my business was mobile, and that I spent all day driving around, that became my quiet time. First thing every morning when I get in the truck, I start the engine, and then I start a conversation with God. I ask Him what He wants me to do today, where He wants me to go, who He wants me to be, how I can serve Him, how I can serve the people around Him. And then I spend the rest of the day listening to the Bible, listening to a theology podcast, listening to a sermon. And it's really easy because I just plug my phone in, and so the battery stays charged, and I listen to a video on YouTube, like I said, of a theology podcast, or the Bible being read, or a sermon. And that's how I get my quiet time in all through the day. And I'm actually, rather than spending 30 minutes or 45 minutes on my spiritual life, I end up spending hours every day on it. So, the point is this. You need to do something every day that is about your relationship with God. You need to serve Him every day. You need to spend time praying every day. You need to be in the Word every day. You need to be studying the Scriptures every day. You need to be something. Preferably all of those things, but at least some of them. Definitely the prayer. Every single day. When is the best time to do this? The best time is whatever works for you, and whatever you will do, and whenever you will get something out of it. If late at night you will do it consistently, then do it late at night. If early in the morning, then do it early in the morning. If throughout the day works for you, then do it throughout the day. Whatever works. The person that told me I needed to have my quiet time first thing in the morning showed me the scripture where it says, "Early will I seek you." But I'm not the person that wrote that scripture. God made me different than them. Don't let anybody tell you that there's something wrong with your relationship with God if you don't start the day with Him. I think that's great. I think you probably should if it works for you. But if it becomes something that brings you down and doesn't bring you closer to God, that doesn't help you to know Christ more, then don't do it. If it is something that brings you up and makes you closer to God and helps you to know Jesus better, then do it. I don't believe there's anything in the Bible that says you have to spend time with God first. There are verses that say it's a good idea, but there's no commandment that says first thing before you get out of bed you need to seek God. Or first thing after you get out of bed you need to seek God. And there are verses that say that we are to pray without ceasing. So the advice that I'm going to give you is seek God, pray, and spend time in the authoritative scriptures every single day in a way that works for you. So now I'm going to ask you to think about what will work for you.